Right, good afternoon to you all. We almost finished the relationships, the relationship between tables, right? So we started from the definition for relationship, and also we took or we applied all the three relationships, right? So we have one-to-one relationship, and also we have one-to-many relationship, and also we have many-to-many relationship, right? So let me remind it quickly. So if it is one-to-one, there should be two tables, right? So a data in the first table, let's say table A. So data in table A should have only one similar data in table B, which means another table, right? Also, a data in table B, which means second table, should have one similar data in table A, right? So this is one-to-one, and I clearly explained this idea using two examples, okay, right? Then we went on to take one-to-many. So in one-to-many, a data in a table, let's say table A, a data in table A can have more than one data in table B, right? There can be more than one data in table B. But a data in table B, which means second table, must have only one similar data in first table. So in one direction, it is one-to-many. In the opposite direction, it is one-to-one. Even you can say a data in table A must have a data in table B, right? Only one data in table B. In the opposite direction, a data in table B can have more than one data in table A. So that is also possible. That is also one-to-many. In one direction, it must be one-to-many. Opposite, it is one-to-one. Okay, so this is one-to-many relationship. This also explained, right? So then finally we took that most important, I can't say important for grade 10, but that is something which is complex than the other. So this is many-to-many relationship where a data in the first table can have more than one similar data in the second table. And a data in the second table can have more than one similar data in the first table. So in short, in both direction, it must be one-to-many, right? In both direction, it must be one-to-many. That is called many-to-many relationship. So these three different relationships can be found in between tables, right? But if you have two tables, definitely one of them can be found. Not all these three things or more than one relationship found in two tables. If you have two tables, definitely you can say that there is a relationship, right? But that must be one-to-one or one-to-many or many-to-many. Okay, right. So before we take another question or another example, let me finish the one which we didn't finish on the other day, right? In the last class, I started to explain a small example, but it wasn't finished because of the time, right? So I explained that, but not deeply, right? So let me take that again. Let's understand that, and then we will move to another question, okay? Have a look at this. Right, look, this is the one which I explained earlier. Okay, I forgot to mention one thing. Let me remind that. So here, if it is a definition, you can say that a data in first table can have more than one data in the second table, and a data in second table can have more than one data in the first table. This can be given as definition for one-to-many, right? For one-to-many, this is okay. Sorry, not one-to-many, many-to-many, right? Data in first table can have more than one data in second table, and data in second table can have more than one data in first table. This is of course right, but so here we relate two tables, right? But when I explained on the other day, right, I told you that the relationship is created using a third table called junction table. we tried, right, in the previous class, we tried to make a relationship in many to many, but we couldn't, right? We couldn't. So that's the reason why we went on to create another one, right? Maybe a mid table called junction table. So even though you have 3 tables, the relationship should be between 2 tables. So look at these 3 tables. So here you have, assume these 3 tables are maintained by a canteen, right? So canteen has these 3 tables in a database, right? So because they have food items, so there is a food item table for keep food item details. For canteen, there should be suppliers. Various suppliers can supply them. So supplier details are saved in another table. You can't save all of them in a single table, right? So you have another table. You know, canteen purchases the items from the supplier, right? So that's the reason why we have another table called purchasing table. Have a look at that purchasing table. In purchasing table, the number of items purchased listed along with the date and supply ID, right? So because that item should be purchased from a supplier, right? So their IDs are there, dates there, and also the product and the number of items, right? So if you close a look at these 3, the relationship should be between food item table and the supplier table, right? Because, you know, food item, right, is purchased from the supplier. So, okay, I can explain like this. Look here, have a look at this. So on one side, you have food item. This is food item. I use my diagram method. Even though this is not recommended to you, better stick with this or understand, use this for understanding, right? So this is too easy to understand. So this is a table, right? So I take it as food item table. So I have another table, right? So that is supplier table. So there should be a connection between these 2. Look here. So, you know, these food items are purchased from suppliers, or even the food items you can say are supplied by suppliers, right? So anything, okay. So this is one of our table, right? Tables. This is another table. So there is a connection between them. So what's the connection? Suppliers supply food items. Even we can say that food items are purchased from supplier. So I can put the verb like purchase. Purchase. That is our third table, right? That is our table, purchasing. So now, right now, if it is one to many, listen to me. If it is one to many, what does it mean? Look at this. This one belongs to food item. So what is it? One food item. Look at the connection verb purchase. So one food item is purchased by many, from many suppliers. Right? So if it is one to many, it means one food item is purchased from many suppliers. Okay, so that is the meaning in this direction. But if it is in this direction, even though it is M, you have to take that as 1. I clearly explained such ideas in the previous classes. I think the class before the last I explained. So if it is M, it means 1, right? Don't start from many suppliers. It is one supplier. So according to this direction or in this direction, it is one supplier. Here better I can use the words supply. Okay, doesn't matter. So one supplier can supply one food item, right? One supplier can supply one food item. So that is the meaning of one to many. If it is one to one, right? If it is one to one, what does it mean? Okay, look at this direction, right? One food item is purchased, right, from one supplier. That is from food item to supplier. On the opposite direction, have a look at this one. So one supplier can supply only one food item. That is one to one. If it is many to many, right, put M one side, N one side, many to many, Here it is M, but don't start like many food items. You have to check one by one. So one food item is purchased from many suppliers, right? One food item is purchased by many suppliers. On the opposite direction, so it is supplier, there is N, which means M, but you have to take that as 1 because we have to take every data individually. So it is one supplier supplies many food items. One supplier, this is food item. So one supplier supplies many food items. So look here, in both direction, you have one to many. So here also one to many, here also one to many. So this, if it is if it is many to many, this is the meaning. One food item is supplied by many suppliers. On the opposite direction, one supplier supplies many food items. If you are able to understand this meaning, right? Because as I said earlier, this many to many, not only many to many, all the types of relationships have real meaning based on the tables. So here, generally we speak like this: a data in first table has more than one data in the second table. A data in the second table has more than one similar data in the first table. That is common for all the tables which have many to many. But if you have a table with data, right, you have a real meaning, you have a specific meaning. That is the meaning which I gave. So if you are able to understand that meaning, it's good, right? So now come back and check this table again. Okay. So to check the relationship now, as I told you earlier, look here, you have food item table, you have supplier table. There is a connection between food item table and supplier table, but not those fields. Here item ID, right? So you have item ID here, you have item name, INAME, stock. But in the supplier table, you have supply ID, supplier name, which means S name, and phone number. So now there is no common field in both tables, right? So look at this table, there is nothing. So these two tables are not directly connected, but definitely there should be a connection because, you know, food items are supplied by suppliers. So since food items are supplied by suppliers, there should be a connection between these two. But there is no common field. It is because of this table, right? The third table called purchasing table. So if you are asked to find the relationship or type of relationship between food item table and supplier table, don't be confused. Try checking those two tables, right? So after checking those two tables, you realize that there is no common field. And now definitely you have to realize that it is many to many and check the third table. So now look here. This item ID is the primary key in food item table. That is also available in purchasing table. But this is not the primary key, right? I don't want to check the primary keys and foreign keys one by one. So item ID is the primary key in food item table, but here it is not the primary key. As you can see, it is repeated. So it is the foreign key. So this food item table is related to purchase table using these item IDs, right? So you can connect these two with the help of item IDs. Similarly, go to the supply ID. There, SUPP ID is the primary key. That SUPP ID is also available in purchasing table, but that is not the primary key in purchasing table. Check the purchasing table. That SUPP ID has duplication data. Look here, S003 duplicated, S001 duplicated, right? So it is not the primary key, it is the foreign key. So this purchasing table is connected with supplier table through SUPP ID. So food item table is connected to purchasing table, supplier table also connected to purchasing table. So now I can indirectly say that food item table can be connected with supplier table through purchasing table, right? So this is connected to this one, this is connected to this one. So it means food item table can be connected with supplier table through purchasing table. So like I mentioned earlier, A is related to B, B is related to C. So now I can say A is related to C, right? Okay. Now I found that this is the table to be checked. Now, when you check this table, you can easily identify the type of relationship. Here the question is relationship type, right? We have to identify that relationship type. That is the question. So now, so this is the primary key. Here it is foreign key. Here it is the primary key. Here foreign key. Now check these two foreign keys to get the meaning. Look here. S001 entered twice, right? S001 entered twice. What does it mean? So S001 means summon. So one supplier, right? So I put the food item in one side, in supplier in another side. Okay. Now we are deriving the meaning of this one, right? Repeating group of S001. So S001 means summon. So having S001 twice means one supplier supplies two items. Here summon supplies 1003, which is rolls. Here summon supplies 1005, which is food drinks. So one supplier, put the one here, one supplier supplies many food items. So in one side, I found one to many. If you have this skill, it's better, right? Try improving this skill. If you are asked to find the type of relationship, first find that mid table or junction table, and then try comparing or try checking that foreign key fields, right? So identify the foreign key field and get the repeated data. Then only you can get the idea, right? So even look at that item ID, that is the foreign key. There are 1003 repeated twice. So ask yourself, right? So why? Why do you have 1003 twice? Ask this question yourself, right? So now you can find the answer. So 1003 means a food item, right? Rolls, right? Roll. But look here, it is S001, it is S003. So what does it mean? One food item is supplied by two suppliers, S001 summon, S003 and Nias. So this roll is supplied by two suppliers. So this is food item, one food item is supplied by many suppliers. Look here, in both direction, we have one to many. So this is simply many to many relationship, right? Because in both sides you have one to many. So that should be many to many relationship. So suppose, right? Suppose if they show such tables in examination and ask you to find the relationship type, you have to use this idea, right? It would be better if you have three tables. If you have two tables, it's too easy. But if you have three tables, try finding that mid table. You can easily find that because they are foreign keys are connected. Those things must be the primary key on the other table. So find the table and after that find the particular field, right? There may be two fields, find them and understand the fact. Okay, right. Right. So now we have a question. Okay. Right. So this is over. Listen to me. The relationship is over. So up to now, let me take a quick break, right? So up to now, we discussed almost all the important points. So at the beginning, we discussed about the fundamentals of databases, right? The types of databases and everything. Then we moved to take tables. So when we started table, we also discussed about fields, right? Data types, records, right? Everything. Then after that, we discussed about keys in a database. Of course, we discussed three different keys: primary key, foreign key, and composite primary key. After that, we took this most important part, relationship, right? So if you are able to handle these areas, right? As a student, if you are good in these areas, definitely you can manage all the questions, almost all the questions asked in your examination paper. So which doesn't mean that the syllabus or that the unit is over, right? The unit still to be taught, right? We have some other things, but they are related to practicals. So up to now, we discussed the things related to database, but in no instances we created or we went to compute and create databases. So maybe the next part is creating the databases, creating the tables and everything in computer. That may not be important for exam because our exams are always, written based questions. So it is sometimes too tough to ask questions from application softwares, right? In practical things. So that may be a reason why they ignore this part, the next part. So if you are good in those areas, definitely you can take or you can obtain all the marks. Maybe for second part, you have a complete question for 10 marks. And also in the MCQ, at least three, maybe 4 marks. So altogether 15 marks easily taken, right? But definitely we have to study the remaining part too. But before taking the remaining part, let me show the question model, final paper model, right? So see, we took some time to discuss these things, maybe 8 or 7 classes. I took enough time. But if you take the paper questions, you may feel that these things are not important or such skills are not important to answer. So you may feel that they are too easy to answer. Of course, the question model may be little different than you expect, right? So if you see, we discuss some of the hardest things, maybe some of the easiest things. So up to now, some of you, from the things which we learned, some of you may have the feeling that the questions may be a little tough in exams, but they are not tough, right? The questions are little bit common, right? They are asked in common. Of course, you have the knowledge, or you must have the knowledge in primary keys, foreign keys, maybe composite keys and other things. But the remaining things are general questions, right? So if I take one question, you can understand, but maybe the very recently they start to ask some of the questions which are meaningful and which are closer to the syllabus. Maybe before 2000, maybe 2017 or 2018, the questions are little bit different than the present questions, right? So they are too common, so anyone can answer. But nowadays, they expect you to understand some of the syllabus. Okay, let's take the first question and understand. This is the second part question. I put a whole question in the second part. So look here. So I want to take the answer, sorry, I want to discuss with the help of you, right? So you are the one who have to give the answers. So assume that the following database tables are used to calculate the electricity bills, right? So for calculating electricity bill, they maintain 3 tables, maybe electricity board or something. So they use these 3 tables for preparing the electricity bills, right? So have a look at the tables first. There is a table for storing customer data. So that is customer data table. So you have another table for storing usage details, because for every user, you know, right, every user uses units for months, right? Not only 1 month, for whole year, right? So those usage details are saved in usage table. And also the rate, right? The charges for the units, rates for units, they are also in another table. Okay, look at the first question. Write 2 primary keys and their corresponding tables. This is the first question in all the past papers, right? So there may be 4 or 5 sub questions in this database. So this should be the first question asking the primary key along with the table. So even though the question is write 2 primary keys primary keys, right? Even though the question is write 2 primary keys, you must write them with table name, right? Because without table, we cannot identify the tables in which the fields belong, right? So definitely fields name, which means primary keys, must be given along with the table name. Okay, right? What is? Tell me one primary key.
Account number of customer data table.
Account number in customer data table, right? Okay, look here. So account number ACC_NO. You have to write this one as it is, right? So look there, ACC_NO. So you can't make any changes in the name. Even you cannot miss that underscore, right? So keep that as it is. Okay, let's see whether it is correct or wrong. In customer data table, you have name, account number, and type. Type means, so look at the rate table. There may be 2 types. According to this table, there are 2 types of customers. If you can understand, otherwise you can leave. R means, for household, there is a charge. So residence. For commercial, so when it comes to electricity billing, for household, there is a charge, right? For commercial purpose, for companies, maybe shops, supermarkets, some commercial institution, the rate is different, right? So that's why they put 2 types, residence customers and commercial customers. So here the type is there. So now think about this. Will this 1001 be repeated, right? So this is how you have to check. Will this 1001 be repeated here, somewhere here? No, right? Never, because 1001 is given to AB Silva, right? So that never be given to another person, right? So because look at them, the other fields are name and type. So there is no chance, right? Okay. So first primary key is account number ACC_NO in customer data table. Not in customer data table also, there is an underscore, keep it. Okay, right. Give me one more primary key, because you have 2 primary keys, right? You have to give 2 primary keys. Give me one more.
Rate table, type in rate table.
Okay, let's see. Type in rate table. In rate table, you have rate and you have type. So now we have to check. Okay, now we have decided that type is the primary key. So after deciding that, we have to confirm that. We have to check. Still, it's unclear. So we have to check whether this is the eligible candidate for primary key, right? So let's see how to check. Take the first data, R. So now ask yourself whether this R is repeated or not. Will it be repeated? So suppose if it is repeated, if someone thinks if it is repeated, okay, put the R, then you have to put the rate. So rate means, so for R residence, it is 10.5. So if you repeat R, right, you have to put 10.5 again. So that is useless, right? So now we can confirm that type should be the primary key, because R never be repeated. So in rate table, type is the primary key. Okay, in customer data table, ACC_NO is the primary key, and rate table, type is the primary key. Okay, tell me, can I select rate as primary key in rate table? Is it possible?
No.
Why? Tell me the reason.
Sometimes another type has same rate.
Okay, right, yes, right. So we don't know the types. Sometimes, right? Okay, let me take another type like X or something. So assume there is another type. We can't argue that they have only two types, right? So if there is another type, sometimes that may be 10.50. But you know that next type cannot have the same name, right? RC. That should be given another letter. But the rate can be, right? Sometimes can be, right? Even though it is not common, but it is possible. We can argue. So it can have 10.50. So having 10.50, 18.50 as different data, you can't say that primary key is rate, right? It is impossible. Even I can argue in this manner. So see, now R 10.50, C 18.50. So see, sometimes maybe in the near future, both R and C can have same rate, right? For both residence customers and commercial customers may be charged for same rate. Who knows? It is possible, right? In the future, this is possible. So if that happens, both rates must be same. So this is also one of the way to argue, right? So it never be, right? Type is the primary key. Here, this is the primary key. Okay, right. They are the answers for this question. But for your reference, check the usage table. So sometimes there may be 3 primary keys, but they requested you to write 2 primary keys. Okay, let me take the third table and see whether that table has primary key. Does it have any primary key?
No.
No, right? So there may be a composite primary key. So tell me, what is the composite primary key there?
Month and year
Month
account.
plus account number.
Yes, month plus account number. So see, this data never be repeated. If you combine month and account number, this is the data. This is your first data. January 1001. See, January 1001 never be repeated because 1001 means, have a look at this 1001, AB Silva. So for January, AB Silva consumed 185 units. If you write January again and 1001 again, you are trying to say the same dialogue. You are trying to say that the AB Silva consumed 185 because this is only for 1 year. You cannot store all the data, all the years in a single table. That is impossible. Don't argue that this is the January for 2019, this is the January for 2020. That is not possible, right? So if it is a table, that must have same year data. So yes, you answer correct, that month plus account number, right? This is the composite primary key. Okay, right. So let's move to the next question. Right. I display the same tables. Have a look at the second question. Write 2 foreign keys and their corresponding table names. So even for foreign key also, if they ask you to write the 2 foreign key, write them with the table, right? Don't write that foreign key without table name, because if you write the foreign key without table name, again there is a confusion because one field can be available in 2 tables. So if you write a field without a table name, definitely that is wrong, right? Okay. So now primary keys have been identified. So it is too easy to identify the foreign key. So even if you ask to write the foreign key directly in the question paper without asking the primary key, try finding the primary key first. Have you understood? You assume you are asked to write the foreign key. They don't ask you to write the primary key. So if it is foreign key, better identify the primary key first, right? Then only it is simple, right? So okay, give me one foreign key.
Account number in usage table.
Okay, what is it? Account number in usage table, right? Account number in usage table. It is correct because that same ACCNO is the primary key of customer data table, right? Here it is the primary key. But here in usage table, it is not the primary key. Composite primary key is there, but not alone is not the primary key. So account number is the primary key in customer data table, but that is not the primary key in usage table. So therefore, it must be the foreign key. Okay. So first answer is ACCNO in usage table, right? But the question is 2 foreign key. Give me one more foreign key.
Type in customer data table.
Okay, right. Type in customer data table, because that same type is the primary key of rate table, right? This is the primary key of rate table, but look at this type. Is it the primary key? Not. Primary key is ACCNO. right? So this is the primary key. So here it is not the primary key, but the same type is the primary key of rate table. So here in customer data table, it is called foreign key. So second answer, type in customer data table. We practiced many questions. So hope you have the idea, right? So not only one or two, everyone must understand everything, right? So this is foreign key. This is the past paper question I have shown, or I'm showing the whole paper, right? One year paper. There may be 5 or 6 questions. I'm showing everything, right? Let's take the third question. What would be the most suitable table in the database to add the field custom address?
Customer data table.
Customer data table.
Customer data.
What about others? Is it correct? Customer data table?
Yes, sir.
Any other options? Any other answers? Anyone has different views? No, right? Right. So this seems to be simple because, you know, as I said earlier, field is nothing. It's an attribute. It's a characteristic of an object. So if it is a customer, see, this is the object. Customer is the object. So customer has characteristics. Customer name, maybe account number, maybe his name, his date of birth, everything is his characteristic. If you are a student, your name, your admission number, your date of birth, your address, everything your attribute, right? So we cannot put the attribute custom address to rate because it is irrelevant. So the attribute must be related. So see, if it is you, right? I can't say that teacher ID is one of the attribute of you because that is irrelevant. So what I'm trying to say is field is nothing. It is an attribute. It is a characteristic of an object, right? So finding this is too easy. So customer address should be the characteristic of customer data table because that is the table which keeps customer details. So it has name, it has account number. Account number is there because to make the connection, right? And also type is there. It is because for connection, right? So this is the idea. Okay. So answer customer data table. You cannot add that with another tables. So these are the common questions, right? For answering that question, for maybe for first question and second question, you should be very fluent in primary keys and foreign keys. But for question like this, anyone can understand. Anyone can answer, right? So there is no need for the skill or the subject skill or subject knowledge, right? Okay. Number 4. What tables should be updated if a new customer called ABC Nawaz of type R has used 120 units for the month of April? Wait some time, right? I will explain. So this kind of questions are very common in the past years. Recently, they have reduced the number of questions given in this manner. But before 2017 or something, almost all the questions are similar to this one, right? They give a scenario. There is an updation or there is a deletion or there is a new record added, and ask you to identify the tables which are updated or which face changes. So here what happened was ABC Nawaz of type R has used 120 units for the month of April. This is the incident. This is the situation. So here, if you want to add this situation in the table, you know, there are some tables modified. So what are the tables to be modified? That is the question.
Customer data table and usage table.
Customer data table, usage table. What about rate table? Will it be updated?
No.
No.
Okay, look here. Definitely the usage table be updated because everyone knows that table has units, usage units. So since ABC Navas uses 120 units, definitely that must be updated because this is the table to keep usage units. So, okay, first answer, usage table, that is okay. But now, look here, ABC Navas, as I described here, new customer. He is not an existing customer. He is not in the database, right? He is a new customer. Since he is a new customer, definitely his entry is not found in customer data table. So now you need to add this Navas, ABC Navas in customer data table because his data is not found, right? So if his data is not found, calculating his bill is useless, right? So definitely customer data table is changed. Suppose if the Navas is an existing customer, right? Suppose assume this in this question, Navas is an existing customer. He is not new. He consumed 120 unit. He is also R, right? R is given 120 units. So now what are the tables to be updated?
Usage table.
Yes, now only usage table. You don't need to make any changes in the customer data table because he is there. But okay, so but in this question, these two tables to be updated. Customer data table needs an updation and also usage table needs an updation. Okay, right. So after asking this question, definitely the next question would be, you have to write that updated records. Now you just mentioned that both customer data table and usage table need updation. So definitely the next part would be writing down the updated record. Right, so there is a way to update. Okay, sorry, there is a way to write that answer. Before that, I will show the question. First, have a look at the number 5. Write down the updated rows and their respective table names for the updates given in question 4 above. Assume that the account number is 1005. Okay, so you have to write the updated rows and the respective table names. Even here also, even though they miss the word respective table name, you have to mention the table name because here you mentioned 2 tables, right? In the question number 4, you suggested 2 tables to be modified. You suggested customer data table and also you suggested usage table. So for answering question number 5, you have to write the record, right? That is the one which is expected, but at the same time, it must be written along with the table name. Okay, so there is a way. I will show you because students often lose marks even though they understood the question, even though they know the answer, they lost the marks because of the way of writing, right? So there is a way to give the answer. Okay, let me explain. So what is the question? ABC Navas has used 120 units for April. His number is 1005, right? 1005. So we have a change, or we have an updation in customer data table. Right? We have an updation in customer data table and usage table. So let's write the table name, customer data table. Customer, put the underscore data table. So there we have fields, right? Put them, name, account number. So note there is an underscore, keep it, account number, and also type. Okay. So now we are answering for the question number 5, right? So we asked to write the updated record. So since it is updated record, you don't need to write the entire table with the existing data. That is not required. You have data there, right? They are the existing data. Don't copy them again, right? It is wasting of time. you need to write only the record related to this updation, related to that particular incident, right? So ABC Nawaz has used 120 units for April, month of April. And also in this question, it has been given that his account number is 1005, right? 1005. So look here, name, so it is ABC Nawaz. Account number, yes, it is given. Suppose if it is not given in the exam, so most of the time it is not given, but in this question it is given. Suppose if it is not given, assume it is not given. Can I have this as blank there? In this question,
No.
assume this 1005 is not given, right? So they mention that ABC Nawaz is a customer. He used 120 units for April. So now I have to fill this table. So okay, ABC Nawaz name is given, I copied. But the next field is account number. But since the account number is not given, can I keep this as blank?
No.
No.
Why? What's the reason?
Because it is the primary key of customer data table, and the
Yes.
primary key must not have null values.
Yes. It is the primary key, right? Account number is the primary key. So primary key cannot be null, cannot be empty. So definitely it is there should be a number. So give a number. You may follow the pattern because see there is 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. All these numbers are given. So better give 1005. Even you can give 1007 or 1008 or even 2000. Anything possible. But try following the pattern. But you must be very careful. You can't give a number which is already given. 1001 is given there. So you cannot repeat that because primary key cannot have duplication. So but here no issue because number is given. What about type? Was it given? Was it given in the previous question? Yes, right? What is it?
R.
Yes, it is given, right? In the question, in the previous question, it was given. ABC Nawaz is a new customer, belongs to type R. So it is okay, right? So this is my first table. Okay, so I suggested an updation in customer data table in question number 4. In question number 5, I have written that record. And also, I suggested another updation in usage table, right? So let's make that updation here, usage table. So what are the fields there? Month, account number, units. Month, account number, ACCNO, units. Three fields. Here also you don't need to write the existing data, right? Write the updated one only, right? So look here, month. In the description, it was given as April, right? So it is April. Account number given, right? 1005. Units used also given 120 units. So 120. This is how these two tables are updated. Too simple, right? Right? So for me, this is the safest way of answering to this question. But if you take your scheme of marking in the final paper, they want only the record without the field name, because field names are already written in your question paper. They are in an order, so they don't want the field name. They want only the particular record, because record is the most important part, because that is the one which is when to update it, right? So better write it even without that field name. It is possible. See, this is okay. Write only the record, but table name must be write the table name, usage table, and this data. This is given marks, right? And also see here in the customer data table, fields are not important because we written them in the same order, right? So this is also possible. Okay, so both are possible, but again I recommend my first method. That may be safe, right? Because here someone may argue that the fields are not there, fields are not displayed. So how can we say that the fields are order or different? So sometimes argument are there, right? but better the first method, writing the field's name along with the data, is very safe, but this is also accepted. Okay, right. So now come back to the question. Okay, so for question number 5, this is the answer, right? Right. Then sixth question, number 6. I think we have 6 questions in this paper. Last question. What tables should be joined to run a query? Don't worry about this word query later, I will explain. Even you can omit this one now. What tables should be joined to find out the total bill for AB Silva for January? Right? What tables should be joined to find out the total bill for AB Silva for January? Take your time. What are the tables? Have you understood the question? Have you got the question? We need to find the total electricity bill for AB Silva for January, right? Total bill amount. So what are the two tables to be joined? Because data are scattered, right? Data are scattered in 3 tables for preparing the bill. So sometimes 1 table, sometimes possible. Sometimes 2 tables need to be joined. Sometimes 3 tables need to be joined. What are the answer? What is the answer?
Usage table and rate table.
Usage table.
Usage table and
Rate table.
Usage table and rate table. Any other answers?
All the 3 tables.
All the 3 tables. All the 3 tables. Okay, look here. See, forget this this one as database, or forget this as ICT. Imagine these 3 tables are given to you in mathematics or something, right? In maths, someone has given these 3 tables to you and asked you to find the electricity bill of AB Silva for January. Okay, same question, but forget about the database, forget about the ICT and everything. You have these 3 tables and I asked you to find the electricity bill amount for AB Silva for January, right? Okay, now definitely you have to take this table, no doubt, because this is the table which has the usage units, right? Don't forget the person is AB Silva. So AB Silva means 1001, right? So he consumed 185 units. So now without referring this usage table, you cannot find or you cannot calculate the electricity bill. So definitely usage table taken into account, right? Okay, that is important. The other important table is rate table. Without having the rate table, you can, the question is total bill amount, right? Not the total usage units, total bill amount. If it is total usage unit, usage table alone is enough. But since you have been asked to find the total bill, definitely rate table must be referred, because rate table has rate for units, right? Rate for a single unit is kept in rate table. So, you know, the total number of usage units must be multiplied with the rate, right? With the rate for unit. So definitely rate table should be joined. But even though you take these 2 tables, you cannot find the electricity bill. You cannot calculate the electricity bill for AB Silva. Why?
Because we don't know the type.
Yes, good. So we don't know the type of AB Silva. So now look here, you now, okay, you found that 185 is the usage amount. That 185 must be multiplied by the rate. But the problem is you don't know whether it is multiplied by 10.5 or whether it is multiplied by 18.5. There is a confusion. Suppose if there is only single rate, so assume that it has only one rate, right? 10.50. Then it's okay, right? You can multiply 185 by this 10.50. But the problem is you have two rates. So now you have a confusion, right? So you have a doubt whether multiplying 10.5 by this 185 or 18.5 with 185. There's a problem because you don't know the type of AB Silva. So where can we find the type for AB Silva? In customer data table. So look here, in customer data table, we find the type as R. So without referring the customer data table, you cannot calculate. So I come back to my question. If I give these three tables to you manually and ask you to find the electricity bill, first of all, you have to take the usage table, then you refer the rate table. There you have a confusion. So you go to the customer data table and find this type an R. Now you come back to rate table again and realize that it is 10.50. You immediately write like 185 into 10.5. Then you calculate the bill, right? So definitely all these three tables are joint. So look here, for answering this type of questions, you don't need to study the lessons. This is answered if you have common idea. If you have a common knowledge, anyone can answer such questions. Okay, so practice such questions. We cannot do all the past paper questions at this time, right? So because I will do all the past paper questions in grade 11. Maybe in the mid part of grade 11, we can do all the past papers from all the units, right? But for giving an idea about the past, I took this question, right? So now you have a confidence. If those who have studied everything clearly have the confidence to get the whole marks for database. There is nothing to ask, right? So if you are good these areas, definitely you can, I can promise you can get all the marks asked in databases. Okay, so maybe in the next class we will start creating databases in computer, though that is not important for exams. We have to spend, because as a student who studies ICT, these things are important for your practical life, not the examination part. For your practical day-to-day life, these are important. Okay, so any questions? Right. So since you don't have any questions, we can wind up. So enough for today, and we will meet with another lesson. Okay. Right. Thank you.